So I'm going to do an impromptu preview of the World Cup. I have, obviously, being a big soccer fan, I've followed it, but I haven't given a lot of thought. I'm looking up the groups actually, so I wanted to do just kind of an impromptu first thought type of preview of who I think is going to do well, who might crash, and kind of just a quick to the point. This is not an in-depth by any stretch. So in the first group, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Uruguay, kind of the group of suck for the most part. It's not a very good group, but that's common in Group A because the host country is the seeded team. I think Uruguay is a good team. They're a strong team traditionally, so I think they'll go through. And with these other three, I'm going to go with Egypt simply because of Mo Salah. Mo Salah being the Premier League player of the league for Liverpool, and the guy is just a scoring machine. So I think he alone will be good enough to get him through. So in Group B, this is the Iran, Spain, Morocco, and who is the other one? Iran, Spain, Morocco, and Portugal. How could I forget Portugal? Home of Cristiano Ronaldo. This is a group I have a little bit of sentiment. I'm rooting for Iran since my number one team, U.S., isn't in. I got to go with my number two ancestral team. And I think this is an interesting group because you have two big names, two clear-cut teams that should go through, but they've also been countered some issues, and there could be some flaws there. First, Portugal is basically Ronaldo plus 10. You had a couple of good players there, but so it's a tough one to call in a sense. It's not as easy as it looks. I would say Spain should be the clear-cut leader, followed by Portugal. And that's what I'm going to go with. But I'm going to give some caveats. Spain just fired their coach 2 days ago. So he took a job at Real Madrid, and the Spanish Federation got pissed off and fired him. So it's going to be interesting to see how they react. My inclinations, I think they'll be fine. But this team also did 4 years ago crash out. So they're a very hit and miss team. They either go very deep or they crash out. They got the talent to go deep, but team chemistry, choking, this has always been a problem. I think they'll still probably go through. There's just too much talent there. Portugal was interesting. Again, kind of a hit or miss team. They actually did not make it through last time, and at the expense, the U.S. actually got in ahead of them. So this is, again, an inconsistent team, but they did just win the European Championship. So talent-wise, they should be there. I would only say that these two teams, Morocco and Iran, have some players. They have some guys, and I know more about Iran. They have definitely some goal scorers, and they're one goal scorer, really. So I'm not expecting a lot of goals, but they have at their best, they have a very disciplined defense. They keep a shape. They have a very good coach in Queiroz, the former Portugal manager who has a lot of experience in Europe. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm rooting for Iran. I'm going to go with, chalk and say Spain, Portugal, but don't be shocked if, Iran or Morocco jump in. Particularly Portugal may be vulnerable. So in Group C, this is another kind of one good team with three mad teams. France is far and away the best team, but as we saw, the U.S., they just tied a young U.S. team. So talent-wise, they should run away with this group. They got semifinal, maybe even final talent. They're loaded. So they should go through. Australia doesn't impress me that much. I don't think they'll get through. Peru and Denmark, I think, is a real fight. I would give the edge to Denmark on talent because they got Christian Eriksen. Who's a big-time player in the EPL for Tottenham and goal scorer. But I'm going to say Peru sneaks in. Something about a team that hasn't been in there, even longer than the last time Denmark's been in. But Peru hasn't been in a long time. They don't get out of the gauntlet that is South American qualifying. So I'm going to say Peru sneaks in and pulls a shocker and gets that second spot. So in the next group, you got Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and Nigeria. This is actually a fun group. That's a tough group. Argentina's going to go through because they got Messi, and I got them going deep. I think Messi's going to actually, it's not maybe on talent, not quite there, but I could see Messi really will them because this could be one of his last major tournaments. So I could see him go far. I think Iceland, Croatia, Nigeria. That's tough. That's really, really tough. I'm looking at right now. Iceland, it's there. I'd like to see them go through because, you know, they're a tiny country. It's a good story. I don't know, first time there, they are a very well structured and good chemistry team. I don't see Nigeria going. I mean, Croatia's got talent between Modric, Rakitic. They got some guys. So I would say Croatia's the favorite to take two, but really anybody could come out of that group. But I'll say Argentina and Croatia. Brazil, Switzerland, Costa Rica, Serbia. This is another interesting one. You got a lot of, I mean, you got Brazil who'll go through because they're Brazil and they got to be one of the favorites to win it all. They're loaded too. Switzerland is a good defensive team, pretty consistent team, round of 16 type of team. Same can be said of Costa Rica and Serbia. Costa Rica actually shocked everybody and made it to the quarterfinals. I don't see that happening again this time though. They haven't looked as good in their warm-ups, so I'm going to say Costa Rica does not repeat the shocker of beating England and all of that. The Swiss are there in Serbia. I'll say Switzerland. Brazil and Switzerland go through. So Germany, Mexico, Sweden, South Korea. That's another good group. Germany, Mexico, Sweden. I'll say Germany and Mexico. Germany, again, cup finalists. Probably a championship contender. Mexico is always going to be there, and I think they'll make the knockouts. They're usually really good in group play. What they do after that, it's a whole separate issue. But I think they'll get past even the Swedes, the Zlatan-less Swedes. But the Sweden's a good team. South Korea doesn't impress me. That's not that much, to be perfectly honest. One or two good players, but they didn't impress me. And I saw a lot of them because watching Iran in the Asian Cup qualifying, that team just seems off. So maybe they'll, do better than they did in qualifying, but I see them not going through it all. That team, I don't know. They've just had to run of bad coaches or what. So next we got Belgium, Panama. Panama's not doing anything. Tunisia, forget about it. This is a Belgium-England group. Belgium and England should easily go through. The two other teams are very weak. But I think Belgium's a lock. England should go through. Usually they don't choke until the knockout phases. So yeah, this for me is an open and shut group. Belgium and England. Panama, they'll just be happy to be there. And Tunisia, it's been a while, so good on them. And then what the hell is Group H? That's a weird group. All right, we got Poland, Senegal, Japan, and Colombia. Say Colombia. Colombia's got James. They've got some good players. Even Ospina is a pretty good goalie. So I would say them. Senegal's a wild card. Truth be told, I know nothing about them. But so you never know. In '98, they pulled a shocker and they beat the French. And in 2002, check that. 2002, they pulled a shocker and they beat the French. So it could definitely happen. Poland's got Lewandowski, who's one of the elite strikers in the world. They definitely got some talent. I think they would have to be favorite for second, Colombia and Poland. But I mean, don't sleep on Japan. Japan is one of the best teams. I would, if not the best, with them or Iran, you could really make a fight for a case for either team for the best in Asia. But they got a much more forgiving group than Iran did. So I could see them sneak in, and Senegal is a pure wild card. But I'm going to go with Colombia and Poland in this one. Who I think will go in the semis, you're going to notice, because this is impromptu, I'm going to a lot of chalk. So I think it's going to be, you're going to see Brazil certainly there. I think you'll see Germany, some combination of Brazil, Germany, France, Argentina, some combination. You could see Mexico sneak in. They're due. I mean, they got talent. They're a very good team. Pains me to say it, but they got a lot of talent. But ultimately, I think this goes to, I want to pick Argentina badly. I really do, but I can't because as good much as they have Messi, they got a lot of holes. So I see this one going with Germany. I don't see Spain actually going all the way. Just now, I would have, but this coach thing that they've had, firing a coach 2 days before, and that team has a history of kind of falling apart sometimes. I'm gonna say they don't, but they have the talent to do it. But I would say Brazil will be there, and I will say Germany is there. And I'm gonna say Germany takes it. Germany is loaded, so I think Germany will take it again. But Brazil could just as easily do it. So that's my pick. Also, they announced the 2026 World Cup will be in the U.S. primarily, with a few games in Mexico and Canada, and this is a great thing. I think to kind of do after what happened in 2022, and I think credit to the bid team. They realized, hey, let's have a joint bid. I think that insulated them against some of the issues, political issues that could come into play. I think they had a bid that realized that what FIFA's interested in is the money, so they sold that hard. And I think also there are some of the reforms, the technical evaluations that were very, there's a clear-cut scoring. Like the U.S. got a 4, the other bid got a 2.7. And moreover, having all the countries vote helped out. And I think just Qatar has endless money, so they could actually, bribe much better, I think, than Morocco. Morocco had some issues and a very respectable bid, and they did a good job. But it was always going to be a hard matchup for them with the resources of the U.S., Mexico, and Canada. And I think, seeing as North America hasn't had one since 1994, while South Africa was in 2006, that also played a role. So anyways, that's all I got for this. And until next time.